So, as we were talking about strings, we can also use those functions as we saw it for reading and output information to files. That it's going to happen very often. I mean, most of the times you're going to be reading information from a file, so we need to know how to take that information, manipulate it, and do whatever we want. So for this example, you can go there and create a file called nights.txt, and then with this following format. So Lancelot, it's going to be the name, the number of wins, and the number of losses. So we can just go there and create this file. We already did that. As you can see, we have the file here, but you can just go ahead and do it yourself. And what we'll do is we're going to use the open function, where we specify where's the file that we want to read. In this case here is night.txt, and we pass the mode that we're doing. In this case here is R for reading. There's also writing, write and reading, but we can take a look on the documentation for this. And we're going to call this, we're going to open and call as F. So for each line that we have in F, we want to make sure to take that information, which is currently being read as a string. We want to take that, we split that information, and what is the split for us here? Let's pass it's our white space. We don't need to pass anything, but just to show this an example. And then for every element that we read, so we have three elements, 0, 1, and 2. The first element, we know that's the name. Then for the second element, we know it's the number of wins that we have, so data 1. The number of loss, so data 2 that we have it right here. And we want to use this as our result for our operation. So we do this as the number. It's going to be the percentage, so let's take this, multiply by the number of wins, and we want to divide this by the number of wins and losses, or the total number of elements, right? After we do this, we want to print the information that we just got it. So we want to make sure to format it in a nice way. Another way to use the format is we can pass the F here as our tag. And for this here to work it out, we put the placeholders that we were working. In this case, the placeholders, they're going to be the actual variables that we calculated up there. So we have that a given name. So here, a given name has this amount of wins in percentage. So how we do this? We call our result that we already calculated right there, but we just want to show with the precision of two decimal points, and we want to show this as a percentage, okay? After we read, we didn't mention this, but you want to make sure to close your file. So for every file that you open, either to read or to write it, you have to make sure that you go there and you close your file. So file closed, and then we want to issue a flag for this. So our file, it's called F, so we say F closed, and then it should be fine, right? So let's go ahead and try to run this, and we have an error. The thing is, why we do, if we pay attention right here in this line, which is called here on the operation of result, we are trying to do an operation with the information that we are reading from the file, but even though those guys here, they are number and we are using the operation correctly, when we read information from a file, we cannot forget this is actual string. And as we can see here, we use the function split on that string. And when we manipulate this data, here we are doing a mathematical operation. So you have to make sure that you're going to cast an int if the information you're reading is an int, right? So if we cast those as an int, hopefully this will sort out our problem. and then we have the percentage correctly. So after we do the operation for each line, we go ahead and print it out also that the file is closed. For this simple example, if we didn't have this here, it wouldn't be a big issue and the code will still run pretty well. But in a real code, you always want to close your file after you are done with it. Okay, so thank you and happy coding.